I don't care how great your training and nutrition program is, at some point you are going to have a plateau. And keep in mind that for me, a plateau, we need to make sure at least, I say 2 weeks, 4 weeks. Even then, if you've plateaued, meaning you're just using an example, a specific example, if you've got a fat loss goal and you've been losing fat, and then all of a sudden you've stopped losing fat. If in 2 weeks you haven't lost weight, I'm not going to freak out. And I don't want you to freak out either, because there are so many variables that go into it. But plateaus do happen. But if, let's say, after 2 weeks, you've checked in, the numbers haven't changed, you've continued to be consistent. Again, consistency is king. If you're not being consistent with your training and nutrition, you can't really say it's a plateau, because we really don't know what have you been doing, what have you been doing well, what have you been doing well consistently. Because if we know those things, then we know how to combat the plateau. We know we need to tweak some things. I've heard the definition, and everyone has, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. I get it. But in the world of fitness, I almost feel like people don't do enough of the same thing over and over and then expect a different result. Like, you have to be, it doesn't have to be perfect, but you have to be super consistent, meaning I'm eating basically the same types of food. It doesn't have to be exactly the same food. I have to eat the same types of food in consistent amounts, and my activity has to be consistent, both in the gym and outside of the gym. Because if I'm changing any of those variables, it's going to affect the outcomes. But if you're doing those things consistently and you've plateaued again for at least 2 weeks, maybe 4 weeks, then we know what adjustments need to be made. Without exception, I'm confident that you can break through those plateaus. Again, if you're following a sound nutrition and a sound training program and you're doing it consistently, when you hit those plateaus, there's no reason to freak out. Things can be adjusted.